Hey everybody, welcome to Winning Tips. We're starting something new for 2009. We're letting some new and upcoming trainers and professionals come on, show their stuff, so you can see some of their new stuff and see if you'd like to see any more extra long videos of them. So we're just kind of testing the waters here. Today we have Laura Schumann on here. She's a trainer for 25 years. Her motto is to help every person achieve their goals as easily as they can. She stays close to home because of the multitude of horses that she has. She's not able to go and travel and, you know, do the rodeo scene like most of professional trainers.
Right, exactly.
We're glad you came on. Laura's going to talk about a couple of things. She's going to talk about hand positioning, body control, and the point of the turn today. Laura, we're glad you're here. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Laura, you have a really good theory on hand positioning, and you have a demonstration that I have never done this, so y'all folks at home, if I mess up, you know, just forgive me. Laura, if I mess up, forgive me.
Okay,
I
will.
Tell me what you mean, some of the things that we're going to talk about in your hand positioning. So tell me some of the stuff that you know that you think is important in hand positioning.
Well, the main thing that I see with my customers, my clients' horses, and when I go to the clinics is girls that don't know how to hold their hands up. I see a constant amount of pressure, people pulling downward in a downward action, expecting to be able to hold a horse's shoulder up, which it's physically impossible. You take these girls that are 100-pound riders, and I don't care if you're a 100-pound rider or you're a 200-pound rider, you're dealing with a 1,200-pound horse.
Right.
So what I've come to try to show these girls is seeing is believing, and that's how you can tell them, hey, hold your hands up 1,000,000 times. But if I do this drill with them, they can actually see the difference. When we start talking about body strength, as in relation to hand position, you have to realize that we have as many good men riders out in the world as we do women riders, and there's an upcoming group of men riders out there that they do handle a horse a little bit differently than a woman. I tend to believe that, in fact, just because that we're not made the same. Our physical body isn't the same.
Sure.
A man will have 5% more strength in his wrist. Okay. And a woman, in the same aspect, has 20% less elbow flexor muscle to go on between the wrist and the elbow. Okay. For every single time that you get your hand away from your body, you lose 2 pounds of pressure.
Okay.
So if we take an aspect that our arm is 24 inches long, okay, there's 48 pounds of pressure that we lose. Now, nobody wants to manhandle their horse around a barrel, and that's not what I'm telling anybody to do. But I'm telling you that if you have a hard-running, hard-turning horse, having your hand in the right position so that you have the least amount of resistance going into a turn is always going to be the most helpful way to do it.
Right.
So what I'm going to kind of show you is that what I show these girls at the clinic is about holding your hands in an upward position. I don't mean holding them here, doing this kind of deal. I mean holding them here level with about your belt buckle, your waistline, keeping your hands up but not pulling to your knee.
Right.
Not only when you pull down to your knee, you know and I know that if you have a draw bit on, you're going to flip the shank. It changes the pressure of the draw on the shank to the outside. You pull the outside of the face around.
Right.
So you're not in a lifting position any longer.
Well, you're getting their head up too because you're in their face.
Exactly.
And pulling downward, which is what we've all been taught, if we're old enough, so y'all young people out there, it's down to your knee. Well, they've now learned that stops forward motion.
Right.
And you're stopping your horse turning.
Right.
So anyway, go ahead, sorry.
Well, I don't know how many times I've heard Mom and Daddy have the little kid running through the pen, and they're like,
Me too.
Pull him around, and you're like, oh, no, honey, lift, because the reality is that the strength of your body is in the lift. If you're holding your hand down here by your side, and you lift this way, you feel the muscle that you make every time that you move your body.
Right.
Okay? All right, when you get your hand further away from your body, you can feel this muscle right here from your wrist all the way to your elbow, to your shoulder, stretch out. Now, how many guys do you see bench press? If they go out and they're going to lift a weight, they get down, they pull it up, and then they push. They're not spread out here. They're going to lift that barbell up like this. They can't pick it up.
Right, because they don't have enough strength.
Exactly. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't work. So what we're just trying to say is that, finesse is what we want in technique.
Right.
Always.
Always.
Okay, always. And we don't want to say that we need physical strength to pull a horse around a barrel, but in that aspect, it does take some amount of physical strength to stay with a hard running, hard-turning horse.
Right.
So what I'm going to show you is kind of my theory on it is with a feed sack, and this is what I show them at the clinic. And when I have a girl that is getting too scattered out on a horse, and she's pulling around, and she's on a hard-running horse, I'll say, get off, come here, I want to show you what the difference between your physical strength will be. So if you stand over here next to this feed sack.
Okay, me. I'll stand on this side.
Right. All right, I can take this feed sack at this point. See, I can pick it up off the ground.
Okay.
Because my wrist is next to my body. My elbow is as close to my body as I can get it and pick the sack up. Okay? Now you try.
Let me do this on the right hand.
Yeah, right hand. You're a lot stronger that way.
Okay, so like this?
Yeah, now pick it up. See, now you can feel that muscle right here through your body and your shoulder. It's at work.
Right.
You have all that physical finesse to be able to do that.
Right. It takes a lot, too.
Exactly.
Right.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to apply the theory that for every 2 inches that you pull your elbow away from your body, you lose 5 pounds of pressure.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to stand away from the sack.
Like this?
Yep. You get away from it, Charlotte. Now, and arm's length.
Arm's length, okay.
Yep. Now reach down.
All right.
And try to pick that sack up.
No.
You can't do it.
No, I mean just barely.
Yeah. So what that I'm saying is that when you get your body that far away from your rib cage, get your elbows that far away from your rib cage, and you'll have your hands in proper position down here where you can control and finesse or lift a horse to help keep his rib cage up. When you get out here, how do you expect to keep his rib cage up? How do you expect any flexation out of the horse at all?
Right.
You can't, because you're scattered out yourself. You're not sitting square, your body's not square. So that's basically kind of how that I explain it to them. And once somebody sees that, I've had several people say, I'm going to pick that sack up. You ain't picking that sack up, girls. Go home and try it.
Well, I got it off the ground a little, but not like I did when I had this.
Because you have that strength. It's here. It's here in your shoulders. And when you ride, when you're sitting here on a horse and you reach to have to tuck one up, and it could be any amount of error that goes on, because that goes into another portion of that we're going to talk about. But when you're leaned over on a horse like this and you go to lift one up, are you going to lift one up and want to do this? Is that how you're going to lift the horse up? Or using this muscle, using this?
And staying up underneath yourself. But the one thing, you're not getting yourself strung out either by being over here, because you tend to want to lean with your body too.
And that's another thing, when I tell the girls, you lean in with your body and you get all swung out like this to the outside. You've cocked your hip over to the left. Any amount of body movement that goes opposing, rather than staying in the center and staying center on your horse, is going to throw your horse the opposing direction.
Sure.
So if you're going to have trouble with the horse running in there and shutting off his pocket, or he's not getting up there to what I call the point of the turn and losing his approach, the pattern to which he has to go and turn a barrel, and you're leaning to the outside all strung out like this, you're just throwing him closer to a barrel. You're throwing him towards it. People are thinking, I'm going to lean out here, I'm going to keep him out. But it doesn't work that way.
Right, I understand. So let's go on. And also I want to mention, Laura does have clinics. It's called the I Believe Tour for 2009. So you get on her website, it's Laura Schumann, barrelracing.com.
Yes, it is.
So you can find if there's a clinic near you. We've heard great reviews of her clinics, so be sure and log on and check out the newest stuff on her website. Okay, let's get started on, you're going to show us on your horse,
right,
so we can put it all together.